I've said this before. All disempowering belief systems are the antithesis of consciousness, that is, the divinity of the life force essence of your soul. Any belief system, by its very nature, operates off of the premise of assumption. You assume that what you were taught is the truth, so therefore, you empower that narrative to become your reality. And this is the reason why people are so divided these days. Because of your belief systems and your core set of values that align with those belief systems. This is the reason why, when somebody challenges those beliefs, you will dispatch them with cognitive dissonance. Because you have been programmed and trained to do this. This is the reason why, when you confront religious zealots about their beliefs in the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, what they believe God to be, and you actually confront them with actual facts, they will hit you with cognitive dissonance. They all do. These are the people that proclaim spiritual love and Jesus walks all over, Jesus walks all over the earth spreading love and kindness for all. But the moment you disagree with them, you watch the talons and fangs and claws come out. So this is the programming. This is what they're challenged with. This is what perplexes them when somebody comes along and says, you don't know what you're talking about. That's not the reality of the situation of life. And they are just locked in that chamber of uncertainty because all they've been trained to recognize is what they've been told is reality. And this has happened to you too. Not to do with religion, but them telling you what this life is and what it isn't. And you wrap your energies called a belief system, and that's what fortifies your perspective on this thing becoming your reality. Now, a perceptive lens is a beautiful thing because that's how you see life. That is your lens on the everything of everything. Beautiful. But when you take that perceptive lens and you try to superimpose it over somebody else's perceptive lens, as if it's the only view in the world, then that's when we have a problem. Because then you're trying to unnecessarily thrust your belief systems upon somebody else until you get them to relent and submit to your will. And that's exactly what they do as far as spreading these lies and propaganda. People will fight to the death to protect their belief systems. If you don't believe me, check the history of humanity. More wars have been fought over religious purposes than any other in all of human history because of belief systems. You should never have any belief system. None whatsoever. Just know that you are a different, unique individual, separate, distinct from everything and everyone. You have your own vibrational environment, which is like a bubble that is immersed within an infinite ocean of vibrational environments. Think of it this way. You live in a house. That is your vibrational environment. But that house is a part of the culmination of a neighborhood. That is the cumulative effect, the overall effect, the whole that comprises the parts, and the parts comprise the whole. Without the parts, there is no whole. Without no whole, there are no parts, like a car. A car is an assemblage of a multitude of parts that make the one. But without those parts, there is no one. And without no one, there are no parts. They both need each other. So your vibrational environment is a part of the unity of the universe. Without it, everything crumbles. You were created for a reason. And that reason is not for you to be locked in some disempowering belief system that's just strangling the life out of you and suffocating you and compressing you and restricting you and constricting you into conformity and assimilation. That's not what free-spirited willingness to be vulnerable to the universe is all about. That's the reason why these unconscious soldiers are locked inside that army of darkness. And they don't even question the orders and commands given. They just follow blindly and obediently. Because they cannot think for themselves. Because if they could think for themselves, they would think for themselves. And then they would find themselves in a completely and entirely different space and a different space. and a different place. And that place wouldn't be in an area where they're being controlled. It would be in a place where they are in total control of themselves. And that requires you removing all belief systems, all established theories and formulas, and rudimentary processes that cause you to follow these things obediently, just like patterns. The universe is fluid. There isn't any one way to do anything. It is whatever you want it to be. That's the freedom of self-expression. An impromptu conversation that your soul is having with God. Improvising, making it up as you go along. There is no box. There is no lines to stay inside of, because there is nothing to make that an occurrence or a reality. Just the limitations that you're placing on yourself because of your training mechanism causing you to do this to yourself. You see, you can make it as easy or as hard as you want it to be. So why make your life hard when it doesn't have to be that way? It doesn't make sense. The whole thing is absolutely simple. If you decide it to be, then it will be. Then it is.